Hello there, everybody. Yeah, it's a Dusty Hill playing in the background. So how is everybody? Little ZZ Top. Kind of sad news. Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but Dusty Hill has crossed over to the other side, and um, you know, I my stepsister went to high school with Dusty Hill, and remember back in the days when the group, and I'll share something with you because part of my youth, I was here in Austin, Texas, back in 1974, April 1st. It was a hot son of a bitch. I'm going to tell you what. But this was the first annual Barn Dance and Barbecue. They did their album Fandango on this. Fabulous concert, by the way. We had their, yeah, it was damn hot, folks. I just got to tell you what, any one of you who've ever been to Austin, Texas, in that general area, you know what I mean. Man, it was fun. I got to tell you what, we camped out up at Hippie Hollow, and along with the ZZ Top, who was the headliner, but there was also this group called Bad Company. And Bad Company came out, and lo and behold, the other lead guitar was none other than Jimmy Page. Fleetwood Mac was there. Let's see, Jeff Beck. There was just an all-star group. It was a fun time for one and all. Again, great memories. I think this is Bad Company. I think this is right. But it was cool. It was cool being there. Then, of course, we started the human pyramids, and the guy I went up there with, David Myers, we actually were stoned on orange sunshine, and we were down in this I guess what they would call the mosh pit. This is when someone got the brilliant idea to set a mattress on fire. How the hell they got the mattress in there? Never did figure that out. And there is, of course, CZ Top up there playing. And anyway, so there you go, folks. A little trip down memory lane. Dusty, we'll see you on the other side. And anyway, so favor over all of us. Thank you for tuning in. This speak great love and protection over us all. Basta, as they say, be of service to others. I say that. So, and happy birthday if you got one. Um, anyway, at least when you tune in here, you'll actually have a chance to go back and live serendipitously through my experiences. Now, on your channel, when I tune in, those of you have, I get to listen and uh, become more voyeuristic in living your memories. So it's kind of a give and take. So what is up, everybody? So good to see you. Let's see what else has happened. Hey, Lost in Space. Posey, good to see you. Hello, Nina. How are you, my dear? John Adams, good to see you. Bear Grown. I like that. Jack, how are you doing? Good to see you. Hey, Martin and Heidi, much love to you. In fact, I want to do something real quick here. Give me 1 second. There we go. And now I can get back and as we continue. And so what else is going on, folks? Let me see. I got to get everything up here. There, I think we are live across the board now. Groove. Cool. So as he still looks down at the instruments and go. So hey Lost, what's up? Good to see you, hon. Lady Rebel, hello. Good to see you, Elderberry, T. Hollister, Deborah Sloan. Much love to you. Rod, hello. Hello, Aquarian, John Price. How are you doing? David Castle, much love. Lost in Space, Mistress Morticia, greetings. Isby 963, how you doing? Hey, you know what? Nina, when I get that, we'll get together and do that. Absolutely. Hello, agape love forever. So, Susie Q, how are you? Love that gal. Let's see. What else is going on? Lots going on tonight on the Steiger perspective, artistfirst.com. If your browser doesn't support it, go to another browser. There's a couple of them that's apparently they find the content challenging. But at 10 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Mountain. Um, yeah, tune in. The title will be We're Not Going to Wear Your Yellow Star. So check it out. It will be fun. Now, we've got some serious business to tend to. All of you who are Reiki masters, healers, um, you know that in the spirit realm, there is no distance. We are coexisting in the spirit realm right now. I think that's one of the things that most people miss. We are multidimensional beings. By the mere fact that we exist both in the spirit realm and the physical realm. And we have these avatars that allows us the interface into this realm. And so we truly are multidimensional beings. They just try to make it to where they think we're not. So I received this email this morning, and I want to take the next 5 minutes to just stop what we're kind of doing and focus and listen to the email. And then I'm going to show you some pictures, and we're going to send this young man some of the energy that he is definitely needing. I will read the email as opposed as to showing it, but listen, just listen to me. This is from Michelle McDonald Dunn. Let's see. Um, this is extremely urgent and time sensitive. I have and am still using all of my love and power to bring healing to my son, but request more. Last Friday, 7/23, my 20-year-old son, Michael, was driving out on an errand to go, then going to pick up his girlfriend. At some point during his drive, he was involved in a road rage incident. We all know that, been a victim of that. And unfortunately, it's getting much more prevalent and worse. The other vehicle involved shot 9 bullets into my son's vehicle. A witness stated that after my son evaded the suspect's vehicle came to a stop, reversed back to my son's car in the medium. Then the suspect's vehicle backed up and fired again into my son's car. Likely, this was the shot that struck his forehead. They are being hunted and indeed will suffer dire consequences. Absolutely. That kind of negative karma does not go unabated. It's just a fact, Michelle, and you know that, dear. For that, I have no doubt. But I don't care about them. My son needs healing quickly. Michael was shot in the head. It appeared the bullet entered his forehead, going into the right frontal lobe. Amazingly, miraculously, he was talking coherently to police and paramedics, giving details as to what happened. He was texting his girlfriend and dad, was walking, remaining conscious. Upon arrival at the ER, doctors were amazed at his condition as well. Long story short, he crashed literally as his dad and I walked into his room. He became unresponsive. All his readings that were normal now all abnormal. The CT scan indicated a major hemorrhage of blood clot around the bullet in fragments, 3 to 4 centimeters into his brain. Shortly after this finding, he was in emergency surgery where they cut off half of his skull to allow the brain to swell, and swell it did. It continues, and it needs to stop. Wednesday, they said he now has pneumonia due to the trach tube, possibly, and a fever. He is not awakened yet. He is heavily sedated, but they say that he should be able to communicate. He is there. He responds with thumbs up, has opened his eyes, and squeezing my hand once for yes, two squeezes for no. I'm using everything I know. Mm, that's hard to do, but I'll do absolutely anything to make him well. Yeah. I have two children, twins, one girl and one boy. Michael is the half of the equation. He's my only son. His twin sister is devastated. He's suffering from what they are calling neurostorming. His body cannot regulate temperature. Seizures are likely. I accept none of this, none of it. I've been talking to him daily, doing guided meditations to heal himself. He is open to all of this. My kids understand what's going on. Way to go, Michelle. And on this world, what's going on in this world, and are not brainwashed like so many. I know he can wake up and be better than ever before. The headshot. He needs an energetic boost, a spiritual wake-up call, a psychic alarm clock, encouragement. He needs to feel the healing love from our soul tribe. Um, he died at birth. That's a good story for another time. But the young man is here for a reason. He hasn't done that yet. So he must heal to accomplish whatever that task is. I agree with that, Michelle. Please, can we all share the same time for just a few moments, focus our positive energy, and ever so gently send it to his head and his brain, right frontal lobe. No more swelling, no more high blood pressure. Will open his eyes, fully restored. And I will show you a couple of pictures. Now, she sent me um, a follow-up to this, just to let you know, um, that the miracle of this was that the bullet apparently bounced off of the skull. And what they were seeing in the CT scans were bone fragments, not the bullet itself. The bullet was lodged in the car. Now, I'm going to share with you um, some of the pictures so you can see what we're dealing with here. Let's see, here we go. So you can see the car is every place that you see, these are where the road rage, the perpetrator um, took a shot. There we go. There are the police. And you can see where they shot into the driver's side. It's most likely, I guess, Michelle, where the bullet uh, hit him in his head. Uh, and there he is. So we're just going to send healing. You know, this is the point of contact. It's most important in healing, particularly in when you're doing distance healing, that you do have a point of contact. And we do have one right here. And I fully expect to see this young man fully recovered. I spent some time in my meditation and reached out to him. And I just had the sense that he is, um, he's a remarkable young man. I mean, he seemed very calm to me. I mean, I did not feel any, how shall we say, panic that can in fact sometimes happen in cases like this. So he's a remarkable young man. And so we're just going to take a minute here and just stop what you're doing. Folks in the chat, I know you're about 30 seconds delay here, but let's just stop. And you've seen Michael's pictures, and let's just send him, number one, the strength. It's like having one of those Powerade drinks, whatever they are. We're going to send him a boost, but it's going to be like the healing oil. It's an anointment. It's like being anointed in um, in the ancient times when a person was ill, and even when a person was ascending to um, a high position of authority. The anointing they would anoint their head with oil, and the healing oil of Gilead is one that I'm very familiar with. And so that's what I do. I just, I close my eyes and I physically see Michael there, and I just see, you know, it's that warm feeling that it just brings peace. And his body is healing. It's healing itself, even with this great of traumatic injury. And I just see the young man sitting up, and I see him accomplishing a lot. So there we go. All right. Um, it's what we do. So there we go. So Michelle, I expect a good report in all this. So yeah, gotten addicted to this stuff. Wow. Yeah, hibiscus tea is good stuff. Woof. I really felt there was a soothing sensation, and I have no doubt that it has been received. So there we go. Cool. Joe Sapien says, I have a roll of gauze bandage, using it as a tool. Hmm. Hey, Troy, what's up? Good to see you, Loretta. Yeah, we'll just take a minute. It's amazing the this creation, these bodies, our spirits, those of us who have souls. There's a lot who don't. But and when you begin to realize, someone wrote me and said, I never heard the term spirit time. And again, there's two different times of perception of time. There's time here, which is really, when you think about it, is minuscule in its reach. But it's in the spirit realms, and they're realms, they're not just one. Um, Time is different. As I said to you yesterday, the reason why we can use the gift of seeing into the future, many times when you make point of contact and you hold someone, those who have that gifting, they can see, because in the very lower levels of the spirit realm, you can see into the future. The physical lags behind the spirit realms in time. And so it's interesting that what a lot that was in the world today has obviously been planned by someone who could see. So spirit time is different than physical time. And it's interesting when you begin to realize that you are a multidimensional being. Right now, you are actually coexisting in at least four dimensions that we know of. I would dare say probably 5, 6, 7. Yeah. And that's just a person who really doesn't know anything, doesn't never goes through life never even wanting to know that. So that's cool. Let's see what else. Yeah, I'm just reading some of the things in there. Y'all are very kind and very loving. I mean, and yeah, yeah. And send strength to Michelle and her husband and um, you know, Michael's twin. Yes, I'm sure she's feeling the trauma as well. They're spiritually connected as well. So yeah, that's how we roll here. You know what I'm saying? And so kind of getting into this a little further about what do we really have any power? Do we really have any say so? And then I think the question really becomes, do we have any allies? Allies in the spirit realm. Realms, actually. I keep saying singular. It is not. It is plural. There are many realms in the spirit realm. Many, many. Um, but it got me to thinking, nearing 2,000 podcasts on YouTube. Um, I would say that we've covered a lot of this. Need to know more about the Lucifer Yahweh Yohai you made some time ago. It was intriguing. Trust me, it is. And that's an interesting segue. So, do we have allies on the other side? It is quite apparent that who's ever driving the machine in this current reality has what we would call super spiritual help. There are obviously beings of a non corporeal substance that have the ability, just like we do, to go into other dimensions, both physical, non-physical. And by the way, the physical realm is not limited to just a single realm. There are realms within the physical realm. And it's the only way that this could be going down. Prophecy theorist, you are absolutely right. Yeah. She says, I believe we have immense power without asking for heavenly aid. I agree. And I know I digress here, like I never do that. That's the whole thing about prayer. What's really being asked here? I mean, prayer is really a lottery. You hope that whatever asshole is on the other side is going to have, well, his magnanimous giving way that he will grant you. But yet, when we're in the middle of the sewer, ain't none to be found. So I digress. But it does beg to ask the question, do we have allies? I mean, if you're not associated with a religious dogma, um, doctrine, because every religious doctrine has they've got the WWE up there already. They'll tell you who the wrestling is and who their champion is, and they're going to tell you who the opponent is. But they'll always tell you, just like wrestling, we know already who's going to win. It's our side. Well, that's pretty limited. You have to, but every religion has it. The good guys, the bad guys. So, who are our good guys? I thought about this. I mean, if you're not associated with a private secret, society like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, all the rest of the isms and the iddies, then what do? Well, they immediately throw us into the bucket. Well, they just worship the devil, you know. They're Luciferians, Satanists. Okay. I've proved that they don't exist, but they do exist because we believe they exist. So, who do we got? You know, I've gone through my books and folks, I could cast spells right now and incantations, but I want to know who the hell is our friend? I mean, who could we call to say all the witches, all the occultists, all the wizards, warlocks, all the magicians that truly do believe in the power of self? That's the greatest magic. But understanding that we live in a universe and in a reality of consciousness, that consciousness extends beyond just our thoughts. And there are other beings. If there aren't, then brother and sister, you might as well just party your ass off because there's nothing after you go lights out. Now, no one believes that. But then again, who the hell are these Osmata? Now, who in the heck is Osmata? Would you like to know who Osmata is? Well, Osmata is the 32nd spirit. That's the name, or Osmata or Asmodeus. He is a great king, strong and powerful. He appeareth with 3 heads, whereof the first is like a bull, the second like a man, and the third like a ram. He hath also the tail of a serpent, and from his mouth issues flames of fire. His feet are webbed like those of a goose. He sitteth upon an infernal dragon, and beareth in his hand a lance with a banner. He is first and choicest under the power of Amalon. He goeth before all others. When the exorcist hath a mind to call him, let it be abroad, and let him stand on his feet all times of action, with his cap or headdress off. For if it be on, Ammonon will deceive him and call all his actions to be bewrayed. But as soon as the exorcist seeth Asmodee in the shape aforesaid, he shall call him by his name, saying, Art thou Asmodee? And he will not deny it. And by he will bow down into the ground. He giveth the ring of virtues. He teacheth the art of arithmetic, astronomy, geometry, and all handcrafts absolutely. He giveth true and full answers unto thy demands, seeing the future. He maketh one invisible. He showeth the place where treasures lie, and guardeth. He amongst the legions of Ammonon govern 72 legions of spirits inferior. His seal is that which thou must wear as a layman upon thy breast. And it gets into some more stuff in here, but I'll show you the, so, and if we can, get into this. So my question then is, are they good guys? Or are they bad guys? I mean, these are some pretty powerful characters. You want to invoke them, I'll guarantee you they'll show up. Here is Shax. The 44th spirit is Shax, or Jaz, or Jazes. He is a great marquis and appears in the form of a stock dove, speaking with a voice hoarse but yet subtle. His office is so take away the sight, hearing, or understanding of any man or woman at the command of the exorcist, and that's what you become as an exorcist once you begin to take command of these spirits. Now, this one will go out and steal for you. And to steal money out of the houses of kings, and to carry it again in going into 1200 years. If commandeth, he will fetch horses at the request of the Exodus, or any other thing. But he must first be commanded into a triangle, or else he will deceive you and tell you many lies. He can discover all things that are hidden and not kept by wicked spirits. He giveth forth good familiars sometimes. He governs 30 legions of spirits, and his seal is this. So I think a legion is, what is that? Is that 8,000? I think that's the count. All of these high-ranking, whatever you want to call them, archons, demons, angels, they all control legions. So, I mean, if you control 30 legions, you're controlling about 100 and, what would that be? About 160,000 spirits. And I wonder, what kind of havoc could 180,000 spirits do? We got a problem here, folks, because here's the problem. If you take knowledge for what it is, if man has been here for potentially millions of years, as we've talked about, and if in fact we know that there have been other beings here, not necessarily human, not necessarily corporeal, not necessarily like us, it does appear that there were other beings here at one time. Most likely humanids in some form, fashion. They seem to have been some bipedal in their structure, others quadrupedal. Interesting. And yet, what we also have studied, Lilith told us in the Liber Lilith that she gave birth with the convoluted serpent, Samuel, untold number of demons. Untold. She also said that there's not a part on the human body that is not ruled by a demon. All right, so let's take that. So, untold number. The interesting thing about John the Revelator in his book, the Revelation, he says that the number is 10,000 times 10,000 times 1,000 times 1,000. If you do that, I think that's somewhere like 100 trillion. Those are what this God has. Why a God needs to create 100 trillion spirits, I don't know. So you got 100 trillion. If a third fell, that means 33 trillion spirits fell from their former place, right? If you go with the story. And how many humans have been on the planet at any one given time? Right now, they say we're approaching 8 billion. Well, if there is 100 billion angels, demons, spirits, trolls, orcs, whatever. So let's just do the math here. That means every human being on this planet has somewhere right around 1 billion spirits potentially surrounding them, influencing them, distracting them, killing them. I mean, think about it. And yet, and I just saw someone, here's my problem with the Abrahamic God. He's a weak son of a bitch. He ain't got no power. If he had any power, this wouldn't be going on. And in fact, if you've done religious comparative studies, you know he doesn't have any power. He never went outside the land boundary that was described to Abraham in the book of Genesis. And what happened in Egypt, we know from the bronze books, from the scribes that wrote their version of what happened, that ain't no God that came through. And you can see that in the archives as well. So we've got this battle then, apparently. I mean, I'm just taking the simple numbers. I mean, the Liber Lilith seems to back that up. 100 trillion. Someone said, well, what if it was just 10 trillion? So 10 trillion. I mean, really? I mean, you know, 1 trillion is 1,000 billion. I mean, it gets to a point where they keep us numb. And as you go through life in this realm, what you don't realize is that you are literally a sucker. They're sucking off of you because, you know, you get, you know, persuaded into one belief system, another belief system, and then you become afraid. Well, everybody, that's why horror movies do so great. You know, humans love to be scared. That's why people don't like going into dark places. They've been told that that is where evil is. And I guess if you really wanted to get right down to it, that's just racist. If you're saying white is good, black is bad, I haven't found it that way. I have found just as much evil in the light, and I have found a lot of good in the dark. Haven't you? Just saying. Folks, I ain't making this stuff up. I mean, this is really the way it is. I'm not kidding you. Because, you know, listen. Now, this book, if anyone is, I have said this to you before, you can get it on Amazon. I think this book is about $60. I think that, and that's a good price. What is in this book here, it can change your life. But why I have not invoked them, you know, I've done my my own magic circles. In fact, I'll show someone. Someone said, let me just show you what. So I, you know, I have gone to the point to where I have invited, and I only say this in a sense of being within my protective element. And, you know, there are some bad mothers out there. When I really get into practicing or invoking, you know, I do my own protection. I think anyone should. I think everybody should, to be honest with you. Let me show you something. I'll show you kind of some of the things that I have done. So I understand sigils, understand them very well. And let me go back. So when I do my invocation, kind of doing my own magic, I'll put it that way. I use sigils. I meditate on them, and I'll just share this with you. Someone asked me recently, did I do actual rituals? Yes. Depending on what it is that I am focusing in on, I will take the time to literally draw out my sigils. And there you can see. So just a small sampling. They work, folks. They really do. Oh, I also work with spirits in using smoke. I'll show you some of the captures I've had. Here's one. Actually, it was a couple. It's amazing how they can show up, and this is actually using a combination of frankincense, myrrh, and a couple of other, and it's quite amazing when you start speaking to them. So just kind of show you, it's all around us, folks. That's all I got to say. It's literally all around us, and different modalities. I try to experience as many as I can, just to get a feel what's comfortable, what isn't, what works with my energy. So you know, that's what I do. So when I read these books, folks, there is a connection to it because I practice what I preach, and I don't preach. I just kind of teach, put it out there. But you have to walk the talk. You just can't talk the talk. And so there you are. I'm just reading some of this. So getting back to who are our allies in all of this. I mean, I know from and the thing about Solomon, and again, it that's in a lot of mysticism and a lot of legend. Some debate, did Solomon even live? I don't know. I know that the writings are not as old as what they should be for what Solomon is. I also know that much of this is heavily influenced by the Kabbalah. And I got a problem with that as well. Because to me, if a spirit is going to be limited to an entity, and there are many of them, there are many gods out there. Listen, even Yaldabaoth, Yahweh, he said it. He says, I'm a jealous God. He said, there are other gods, but you will not bow down, but no others but to me. I ain't going to bow down to any of them. Bowing down is kissing someone's ass. And quite frankly, I don't like that idea. Thank you, Charlotte. It works. It really does. And I do recommend frankincense and myrrh. If you have other things, and I do, it will bring quite amazing. There's an art to it as well, as I have found out. But I love doing it because they will start dancing at times, and it's really cool. So anyway, but it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. That's all I got to say. So we got that group. Then you got, Davidson's book, which is another book. In fact, I'll pull it up, the Dictionary on Angels. And I got a couple of these that I thought that we would kind of look at, because I'm kind of looking at this. If we were allowed to actually come together, all witches around the world, all wizards, all sorcerers, all priestess, all of us who are outside of these mainstream religions, and we reject those gods. We don't deny them, we just reject them. I mean, they got their following, that's cool. But you know what? To say that there's just one and one size fits all is ridiculous. So I'm saying if we could come together, Lucky Stone made a good suggestion in the comment yesterday on yesterday's video. We should come up with a sigil. Number one. In fact, let me just stop at that. I'll come back to this. We should get a sigil that would be identifiable for all of us. For instance, let me show you the talisman. And again, I do need to put a warning on this. these do have and will, they do have a psychic connection. I know the first time I went through these, it's heavy. One identified, and it's still up there on my wall. So these are really important because it allows us to have an understanding that there is a realm that this language, this symbology, is used. And we can generate our own sigils. But I just want to show what the psychic effect is on many of these. I mean, if you really want to have a trip, I will warn you, make sure the place has been cleansed and that you're in a good place up here and in here. Because if you're in a bad place, you don't want to be in these places, because these things, they will charge themselves positively or negatively. And I mean, this stuff gets trippy. These are all the sigils and talisman of Solomon. And if you just let these impress upon you, oh yeah, they'll talk to you in your dreams. So getting a sigil, I think, is really important. This gives you an idea of what those sigils look like. That's the one I have, the fourth pinnacle of Jupiter, which is on my wall. And I actually have charged that, and it stays charged all the time. I don't let anyone else touch it, because no one else comes in here. My wife does, but she says there are times that the energy in here is, it gets her head spinning. So now, I won't get into that whole program, but that is out there. Well, actually, maybe I cut this off too soon. Okay. I'll change my mind. Sure. Let's go back here. Because this is actually some pretty good stuff. We ought to review this. I haven't done this for a couple of years, almost 3. So these are the different sigils. And each one, folks, I can only wear the ones I have. For instance, you look at the 4th seal, acquiring wealth and honor. Seal 1, recommended for acquiring treasures and success in business. Seal 2, for acquiring glory, honor, wealth, and peace. Now, these things work. And they work both ways. They can be absolutely what they seem to be useless, because they mirror the individual's energy. If an individual comes in with skepticism, these sigils, these seals, will reject you. They won't work at all. But if you're drawn to one, then I recommend that you pursue it, find it. You can find, I have some links on there and below where you can get these sigils as amulets. And here was my point in this video here. Look at this. Many of you could see sigils in here. That's because this is a language. Sigils are a language. It's right there in front of you. Always has been. And when you look at this, our bodies literally are a sigil. It's one of what I would call a dynamic sigil, because we can assume many different shapes. So anyway, I won't get into all this. I'm looking at the time, and gee, I haven't even gotten to where I really wanted to get into. But this is all cool. So this stuff works, man. That's all I got to tell you. But I'm still seeking here, and I'd love to get this. Again, I keep asking folks, if you want to get on a panel, let's talk about. I would like to know, where is our choice? Can we find, if all of us in the world were to get together for a 3-minute focus specifically in an incantation, a spell, who would we be able to rely on the other side? I mean, if we got trillions and trillions and trillions to choose from, I'd like to get the team put together. You know what I'm talking about? Because we got to do some serious reality changing out here. This is not reality, what they're doing out there. No, that is not good stuff. No human wants that. So if they can play that game, we can too. We just got to get ourselves together. And there's a lot of us out there. In fact, I think there's more of us that if we all got together, use this medium, that's what the internet is. It's a medium. If we were all to use it together at the same time with a focus of a symbol, a sigil that could be seen at the same time, tens of millions, potentially hundreds of millions of us coming together in the occultic mindset. Wow. Could you imagine if we unleashed that type of psychic creativity? It very well may completely change the whole timeline. And I want to know who on the other side. I don't want the C team, man. I want the A team. I mean, we're going to need, face it, folks, we're going to need some pretty heavy hitting power over there. We need someone that ain't afraid of this stuff. You know, one that likes to get into the game. Wave of arts. Yes, Art Bale did do that. Absolutely, he did. Yeah. David Craig, I like that. I like that, folks. I mean, let's get together and do this. We can do this. There are practicing covens that have been around for thousands of years. I'm inviting you. I'm asking you to share this video, share the invite. Let's start circulating this and let's see if we can come together and really do this. I mean, because we're dealing with some pretty bad magic, man. I mean, this mojo, you know, it's got to go. And I don't want a void in there. And so we've got to have this down specifically. The only way spells work is that if you are not you can't go in there ambiguous in going, well, I'd like to be rich. You can keep doing that for the next, you know, until you pass over. Yeah, everybody would love to be rich, but not everybody is. Why? Well, because what we have for the first problem is that we don't see wealth from what a spirit sees wealth as. I mean, if your concept of wealth is just filthy lucre, fine. But remember, that's an illusion. I mean, a dollar bill is an illusion. We think it has value because we put our faith in that value. Remember, I mean, folks, this is magic. Very fundamental magic. Woof. We're going to bust it open, man. I'm telling you. And you know, and I listen, I know we come from many different, there is a will, a spiritual will. There is, you know, 360 different views of subviews of views. But if we can bring us together into a simple hub where we could all focus from all different spokes of the wheel, wow, we would create a torus jet field and I believe in the spiritual realms that would literally blow the whole scene out. It's never been done. The only time that they have harvested that type of power is in global natural disasters. We don't need a disaster for us to come together. But imagine if we can bring it into a hub, and maybe they're speaking to us right now. So everyone, think about the wheel, think about the hub for the sigil, the symbol. If we can draw everyone in together into the hub, you don't need to get out of your modality. All we're saying is just come around the hub. And then when we begin to focus that type of intense psychic energy, that is becoming universal consciousness. And that will change things. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. I didn't even get into what I was going to do. I'll just wait till tomorrow because, I had all this, and I'm going to keep it because this material is good. We got to see who can we recruit for the team. I'd love for you to email me, steigerrwayne@gmail.com. Tell me who we could call in the spirit realm. I mean, I guess we could make our own tupas, but I don't particularly like that idea because a tupa, it's not of the pedigree that we want. We've got beings over here. They're hanging around. And my guides keep telling me they want to get into the game. They'd love to come in and help. But remember, we have to know their resumes and make sure that we're not being double crossed. And I think by doing it in a group, who knows, maybe out of this group, we begin to form our own high council. Wow, I'm just getting some really interesting vibes on that one. Think about that. We could actually form a new Earth Council. We would blow the gods of this world out. Is anyone else digging this, man? I mean, am I know I'm not the only one. I mean, there is some serious imagery going on here. I like that, Timothy. Absolutely. Listen, I'm just throwing it out there. Posting on Facebook. I'm not in all those other social medias, but many of you are. Let's get together in this. Let's start talking to the other witches. I think I want to get Orly Stewart back in and others that can come in and begin to spread the word. It's time for us to show the norms that this ain't the way it's supposed to be. They have repressed us for thousands of years. They tried to burn us at the stake. They tried to cut our heads off. They tried to do everything they could, but they can't. We always come back. I mean, folks, we could literally form a new world council. This is what they're afraid of. If we can get our act together, we could bring in a Magick. We could begin to cast our spell against them because that's how the world works. That's how the universe is. I wish to say that it was all unicorns and, cotton candy fields, but it's not. We live in, and I think this extends into realms after realms. They're spellbound. All of them are. Woo. See, we got to get this right. We have to come in here with, because remember, we're going to be dealing with an alternative species. I mean, that's what I read in all this. I know the time is, but when I read about all these cats, I've read all 72 about these, and there's some bad I mean, yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, I really don't know if I'd like to hang around in your house, but nevertheless, the point is, there has to be others. Just can't be these. Come on. And this, if we come together, Oh man, I think we could open up a conduit. All right. Email me. I think this is a cool idea. I'd love to hear it. I think this is fine. All right, folks, have yourself a fabulous day. To speak favor over us all. Tune in tonight in the Steiger perspective. I can guarantee you this. If I'm not on a list, I will be after tonight. Fact, Jack. Already on there, I know it. But check it out. Susie Q, thank you, hon. Thank you all the moderators and everyone else that participates. The chat room is always exciting. Thank you for the hitting the thumbs up. And man, thank you for just being here. Y'all are just beautiful people. I mean, lovely, lovely spirits. And I'm honored to be here. And if we could pull this off, if we literally could pull this off, folks, this could be the most powerful thing. I believe that this could actually reverse the transhumanism. I really do. I don't think we have to go down the path we're on. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. And love is that power. You know, unconditional love means I don't care where you come from. I don't care where you're going. You know, the fact that you're just here, fine, man. I can love that. You know, good, Nina. Then let's start passing this around. Listen, there's, you know, what, almost, I think there was almost close to 300 in here at one time. I don't know how many are in the chat room, but if we just did the simple multiplication, if one was to share with three, and that out of the three, the two began to share with three, within a week's time, this could go around the world. And I'd love to see how viral it could possibly go. Bring the witches of the world, the magicians of the world. Let's bring the occultists out. Let's show them the world who we are. Let's show them that their gods are no longer wanted or needed. And let's show humanity a different path. The one we've been on right now sucks. That's all I got to say. Okay. Got to go. See you tonight on the Steiger Perspective, artistfirst.com, and then tomorrow at the same time. We'll pick this up. All right. Thank you all so much to you.